proposing potentially giving money to Americans based on what DOGE is finding. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I love it. A 20% dividend, so to speak, for the money that we're saving by going after the waste and fraud and abuse and all of the other things that are happening. I think it's a great idea.
How much money do you think Americans...
Could be a lot. I mean, if it's 20%, we'd give back a lot of money to the taxpayer. And also it'd give an incentive for the taxpayer to go out and report things to us where we can save money.
Trump also speaking on the wasteful spending and alleged widespread fraud DOGE has found. Listen to this.
We're also finding tremendous abuse, waste, and fraud in Social Security. Social Security is what's happening there is going to be one of the great potential scandals in history. On the program, there are over 4.7 million Social Security numbers from people from 100 years old to 109. Think of that. Now, over 100, there aren't a lot of people that make it. Hopefully, most of the people in this room will make it.
In an exclusive interview with Sean Hannity, Elon Musk explaining the importance of his cost-cutting actions at DOGE.
I really want to emphasize to people that this is a very important point. If we don't solve the deficit, there won't be money for medical care. There won't be money for Social Security. We either solve the deficit, or all we'll be doing is paying debt. It's got to be solved, or there's no medical care, there's no Social Security, there's no nothing. It's got to be solved. It's not optional. America will go bankrupt if this is not done. That's why I'm here.
It's important for people to understand he's doing a big job. He's doing a very thankless job. It's really a thankless job. But he's helping us to save our country. Our country was in serious trouble, and I had to get the best guy.
And the administration's money moves don't stop there. So just yesterday, the president signed an executive order ending all federal taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants, directing federal departments and agencies to identify and stop these funding efforts. Meanwhile, at the Department of Defense, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is ordering the Pentagon to make plans for major budget cuts of their own. Hegseth wants to cut 8% from the defense budget every year for the next 5 years. Maria?
All right, Brooke, a lot of information there. Thank you so much, Brooke Singman. And let me just say that the Committee for a Responsible Budget says these three major trust funds face looming insolvency. Social Security going to go insolvent by 2033, Medicare hospital insurance going insolvency by 2036, and the highways by 2028. Mehek Cook, your reaction.
Look, what an amazing time to be alive. Every single promise that was made by President Trump, he's delivering on. And we have to start celebrating DOGE. I think the people that are pushing back are the ones that are increasing fraud, waste, and abuse. Oh, yeah. There is so much at stake today. We are close to bankruptcy, Maria, $37 trillion. And Elon Musk and President Trump, I believe, will be the first president in the last 25 years through President Trump that will finally balance the budget. This is about putting Americans first. And for the first time in my life, I feel cared for by somebody that is looking me directly in the eye and saying, I care about your dollars. I'm going to treat them like mine, and I'm going to return them for you. That's restitution. And we deserve that.
Yeah, and you know, we talk all the time about the interest being such a problem. Interest is the single largest item in the budget, behind Social Security. More spending on more than spending on defense, Medicare, and children.
And imagine this, 50% of our treasuries come due over the next 3 years, and they will be refinanced at higher rates, which is going to increase the interest payments even more. So we have issues there. In regards to Social Security, Medicare, these entitlement programs that are obviously facing insolvency, you know, it's always been political suicide to really come up with a solution to those entitlement programs. But the best solution is right in front of us, and it is eliminate fraud and waste. I mean, you're talking about 20 million people who are older than 100, according to the Social Security Administration. I don't know if all of those people are receiving benefits, but if they're receiving $25,000 a year in benefits, that sounds a lot like $500 billion a year in savings to me. We need to start there.
There was one person who Elon Musk said was receiving benefits that was 360 years old. Okay, I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. I Googled the oldest person in America. She's 114.
Yeah.
But, you know, these millions of people who are above 100, it's fiction. The IRS now reportedly set to lay off roughly 6,000 employees today as part of the Trump administration plan to shrink the workforce. The New York Times is reporting the terminations will target relatively recent hires at the IRS, which the Biden administration had attempted to revitalize with a surge of funding and new staff. Remember that? He wanted 80,000 IRS agents to look under every rock to try to get more tax revenue.
So what Donald Trump is doing is something that is absolutely brilliant. When I was in office for 20 years, we always talked about waste, fraud, and abuse and how we make government more efficient. What he's done is brilliant. He said, you know what? If we go and we reduce the amount of money we spend, we're going to give a dividend back to the American people. What that does, that changes the whole political dynamic when now somebody sitting on their couch at home says, wait a minute, it's not just about more efficient government, more effective government, but it's for me. I can actually get a check. That's awesome.
Will the Democrats cash those checks? That's the question. The ones who are pushing back against DOGE?
Oh, they absolutely will.
I don't know why, though, we have to do a dividend to people now with all the savings. I mean, I would much prefer just putting it toward the deficit.
Love that.
Put it toward the debt and deficits. We got major problems here, but I understand he wants people excited to be able to say, look, let's cut. And so getting money maybe does that. We're just getting started this morning. We've got a lot coming up and great conversation on this.